Hello and welcome to the Midday Brief here on Joy News on Multi TV. My name is Ni Akrofi. Smarter be coming up this hour. Ban on slaughter and sale of livestock in the Wa municipality to be lifted. On Wednesday, that is, in sports, Black Stars of Ghana will host 7-time African champions Egypt in Kumasi in the first leg of the final World Cup playoff in October. And in foreign news, French Foreign Minister Laurent Fabius says his country, Britain and the US will seek a strong UN resolution with serious consequences if Syria fails to hand over its chemical weapons. We have all these and more coming up. Do stay with us. Now to our first story. The Wa Municipal Security Council has lifted the ban placed on the movement and slaughter of animals in the Wa municipality, which was placed. The Wa Municipal Security Council 2 weeks ago placed the ban on the movement and slaughter of animals due to an anthrax outbreak. Last week, the Security Council last week renewed its ban on the movement of livestock for a week due to the outbreak. The move drew anger from livestock wearers and butchers in the municipality. Rafiq Salam, our Upper West regional correspondent, will join me on the line shortly. Okay, Rafiq, I understand is already on the line. Hello, good afternoon to you, Rafiq.
Hello, Ni.
Yes, okay, thanks for joining us. Now, first, can you confirm to us that the ban has indeed been lifted?
Yeah, the ban has been lifted effective Wednesday.
Okay, so which means in 2 days' time?
Yeah, they have come out with that date to enable, according to the members of the committee, to sensitize the public on the dangers of the disease, after which they'll give them, they will lift that damper, and then they will give them the opportunity to slaughter animals again.
Okay, but how have the butchers and the animal rearers taken this information that the ban will be lifted effective Wednesday?
Initially, they weren't happy that they were supposed to do the slaughtering, start work on Wednesday. But what has actually happened was that after the committee explained to them what they are supposed to do, they were really happy with the situation. And so when we came out from the meeting hall, the butchers were really happy and they were really in expected mood that after all they will get back to work on Wednesday, and then that will enable them to give them the opportunity to take care of their children.
Okay, but until then, how are the butchers, for instance, going about their business? Do they still have leftover stock that they haven't sold, or they are currently not doing anything at all, waiting for the ban to be lifted?
Yeah, they are not doing anything. You know, it's been 3 weeks since the ban has been put in place, and if you go to the Wa butcher shop, it's like a ghost town. Nobody is actually there, and so they are just really not working. And so for them, it was relief for them when the committee came out with that decision and told them to go back to work on Wednesday. If you visit the Wa market too, the situation is also the same, and also the sheep or the goat market at Fadama, at the Wa Fadama, is also the same. And so with this move taken by the security committee, they are really happy with the situation.
Okay. Rafiq Salam, many thanks for the update. Rafiq Salam is Upper West regional correspondent. Now, away from the Upper West, the head of communications at the Volta River Authority, Samuel Fletcher, maintains the security gate through which residents of Togoma access maternal health care at Akuse will remain closed for security reasons. He says the VRA will continue to support the community with amenities, but insists residents should make use of the alternative route through Japon.
The Togome Health Center is the only facility providing health care to the over 3,000 people residing in the community. The center faces a myriad challenges, but the most pressing one perhaps is the absence of a midwife to attend to patients in labor. Pregnant mothers must go to Akose to deliver, and the shortest way is through the VRA gate, which is always locked. The situation has compelled some women to deliver at the gate, while others unfortunately lost their lives.
First gate, it was closed, so we were knocking and nobody answered. So we stayed there about 30 minutes, nobody answered. So we forced the gate, we forced to open the gate. Then to the second gate too, they lock it with 2 padlocks. So that's area we are forcing, we cannot open it. So we found a place to pass where the river is, the river bank. So by that time I was in pain, so I can't walk. I was having a cloth around my neck. So that's where I put the cloth down and then call my auntie to come and help me. There I gave birth to this boy, Kofi.
But the VRA insists the gate is a security zone and will not be open for residents to use.
There's a lot of security implications as to what the gate represents. It's a national asset. You don't want to compromise security. I mean, what will happen to this country when we compromise security will be way heavier than whatever you think is happening with the community of Togome. The gate at VRA is not the only way through to Togome. There is an alternative route through Japan. It may be a longer route, but that is a major road actually. So for anybody to say that that is the only road and make it look like we have locked people in there, that they have no way to turn, is completely false.
Samuel Fletcher adds that the VRA will continue to provide assistance to Togome under their community development program.
Under our community development program, we are providing water for the Togome community. In particular, even at the gate, we have had occasion to arrest thieves who have gone to steal goats and cars and whatnot. So much we do. Sometimes our pickups that have been on standby have been called even to take people from Togome to various hospitals when they are in need. So many things we do.
So the VRA must secure its gate and believe they have done their bit for the people of Togome. For them, the onus is on the Ghana Health Service to post a midwife to the local clinic to help reduce maternal mortality. Abigail Adumakwentri for Joy News.
Now, the Ghana National Ambulance Service was set up after the May 9, 2001 stadium disaster in the capital, Accra. The incident resulted in 123 fatalities and brought to light potholes within Ghana's emergency medical services and care. With a limited coverage area of the regional capitals and a few districts as of 2009, Ghana Medical Emergency System consisted of 49 government ambulances and a fleet of various private hospital ambulances. Well, in the studio with me is Dr. Ahmed Zakaria, the Director of the National Ambulance Service. Good afternoon, sir, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Okay, first of all, I just want to start out of curiosity. The Togome area, do they have an ambulance?
Togome itself per se does not, but we have district capitals that supply Togome.
Okay.
And as you are aware, the ambulance service, as you've just mentioned, is not in every district capital yet. It's still an ongoing expansion process.
So what's the status right now?
The status now, as you may remember, we had initially 7 stations across the country by 2004. From 2004 to 2008, the number increased to 24 stations across the country.
And now when you say station exactly,
it means that in every locality, for example, a district capital, for example, there is a station. Okay. That is what I'm referring to.
Okay.
And so from 2004 to, from 2009 till date, we've been able to increase the 24 to 121 stations.
Okay.
So gradually the process is ongoing.
And I think a few years back, government told us about a number of ambulances that they had imported. 100 and how many?
No, it was 161 new ambulances that were procured, exactly. Yeah. And that is what has helped us to be able to expand the service.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So how do you do the distribution for the MMDAs?
Yeah, so basically, when we started, we had one major criteria, which was accident-prone areas. And that was what led to the station starting in the big cities like Greater Accra, Eastern Region, and Ashanti Region. But in the course of time, we realized that if we limited ourselves to that criteria, it means the rural areas were going to be undersupplied.
Exactly.
So we revised it and we added high maternal mortality areas as well. But then we realized that every district actually deserves or needs an ambulance service. So because of that, now the criteria is to expand the service to cover various district capitals. All the regional capitals have got ambulance stations now.
Okay.
We are now moving into the district capitals.
Into the district capital.
Absolutely.
How long did you start and how soon?
And we started, you know, the service has been existent since 2004 after the stadium disaster. And since 2004 up to date, we've been expanding. The reason the expansion process is slow is because of lack of resources. Because what goes into establishing an ambulance station will definitely be the vehicles and the personnel.
Yeah.
And the personnel, we recruit young men and women, train them as emergency medical technicians. And when they pass out, then we post them to the various district capitals to open the ambulance stations. And the vehicles too, as and when government is able to procure new ambulances for us, then we are able to expand. The problem with the emergency services is that an emergency vehicle has a lifespan of either 5 years or after it has clocked 300,000 kilometers. After
so
that,
what happens to it after 5 years?
After 5 years, you need to withdraw it and replace it with a new one. The reason is that for emergency services, you will not want a situation where you are carrying an emergency and halfway through the journey, the vehicle breaks down. And after 5 years of continuous operations, the vehicle really gets out of its lifespan, and therefore you have to replace it. Such
short lifespan for them. So all the 161, for instance, that came in, is it a year or two ago, in the next 5 years?
Absolutely. Ideally, in the next 5 years, we should have a replacement plan for them.
But
it means
what
you have to wait.
If
you don't, and that's the problem. If you don't have, you have to continue using them. The only disadvantage then is that at that time, the vehicle downtime increases. It means you may spend more time in the workshops than on the road. And what then that brings is that instead of you attending to a X number of patients, that definitely will go down, and your response time will also go down. And so these are all factors that go into determining the investment into emergency services.
You spoke about personnel not too long ago, and I remember, was it last month or so, we had some emergency
medical technicians pass out.
Absolutely. Is that the first batch?
Not at all. That is the sixth batch.
The sixth batch.
The sixth batch, yeah.
And they've been working with the National Ambulance Service.
And they've been working with the National Ambulance Service.
Okay.
Because we started with a staff strength of about 54. We are now over 1,000. Yeah, so the service is really expanding.
So are they on the ground? How effective are they on the ground as far as
you know,
your work
for
is
emergency
concerned?
medical services, we have two different types. Either you are operating a basic life support ambulance system or an advanced life support ambulance system. With a basic life support ambulance system, as the name implies, it means you are dealing with an ambulance system manned by emergency medical technicians who are able to provide the basic emergency care. As you develop, then you can now upgrade that to include the advanced life support ambulance system. Currently, with the emergency medical technicians, they are taught the basic skills of first aid. They are able to stabilize patients by providing the basic first aid. And where need be, they are also able to provide basic life support in the form of cardiopulmonary resuscitation. So basically, that is what they do. And at their stations, they provide both preventive and curative care. They are able to educate people, and then when there is an emergency, they are able to provide the basic skills that they've been taught.
Okay.
But as we progress, then we are able to upgrade their skills to include
because
more
I was going to ask that, would they remain basic forever?
Not at all. Not at all. They cannot. You have to upgrade their skills at some point and make them advanced life support.
So what's the plan for that?
The plan for that is either you remain in the service, and in 5 years you will have to be upgraded, or at any point in time when there is a program for paramedics or advanced life support, or for that matter, advanced emergency medical technicians, you can opt to undergo that stage.
So this is a unit that has come to stay?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. But even though we are still trying to expand the reach of our ambulance service, quite a number of people still go to the hospitals in taxis when they have emergency cases, or even in their private vehicles. Such persons may not have access to the first aid kit, for instance, that you would have in the ambulance. What is the service doing about such people?
Until we are able to expand, to be able to get enough ambulances in the system, this problem will continue for a while, because as a developing country, we've still not got to a point where our system is saturated with ambulances such that we can afford to get the commercial vehicles out of the system. For example, as you may be aware, the normal ambulance to population ratio is 1:25,000. And currently in Ghana, we are operating with 1:1 million. So it's woefully inadequate for the size of 25 million people. So until and unless we get enough ambulances to be able to get every district capital having at least less than or more than 5 ambulances, this situation will go on for a while. And it's not peculiar to the ambulance service alone. It is just a peculiarity of a developing country where emergency services have not become a priority for so long a time now. And therefore, investment in that area is really not enough. And so if we are able to get enough resources, we should definitely be able to expand the service so that we can cover every part of the country. In that regard, the populace themselves may not even see the need to call the taxi, and they would rather prefer to rely on the ambulance service.
Okay, and how about there was supposed to be a national ambulance bill. What happened to it, and what exactly is it hoping to achieve?
You know, the national ambulance bill, service bill, is part of the health service bill, and the health service bill has 4 components. Component 1 or chapter 1 is the Ghana Health Service, 2 is the teaching hospitals, and the 3 is the National Ambulance Service, and the 4th one is the National Blood Service. All these 4 institutions or agencies, their bills come together to form the Health Service Bill. That is still being worked on, and it has not been passed yet. However, there is a component which is the Health Institutions and Facilities Bill, which is a regulatory bill. Under that bill, which has been passed already, there is the 3rd one, which is the Ambulance Council. So that one regulates the service, but the service delivery bill itself is part of the health service bill,
which
and that's one
which
has not been passed yet.
Okay, and we are hoping that they get to pass that sometime soon.
Absolutely, we just hope so too.
Okay, well, I've been speaking to Dr. Ahmed Zakaria. He's the director of the National Ambulance Service. Thank you very much, Doc, for joining us this afternoon. But let's do some other stories now. Some farmers at Damang in the Prisia Valley district of the Western region are up in arms against the Aboso Goldfields Limited, a mining company, for refusing to pay compensation for structures sited on community lands. Meanwhile, the Public Affairs Officer of Aboso Goldfields Limited, Franklin Owusu, says the company will not pay any money to the farmers because the said structures are only speculative ones. Here's a report by our Western Regional correspondent, William Benjamin Peters.
According to one of the farmers, he, together with other farmers numbering about 10, have acquired the land from the Queen Mother of Chichire and started farming about 8 years ago. They later sought permission to construct some structures in their farms, where some of them were living with their families. Most of the communities surrounding the farmlands, including Chichire and Subri, have since been relocated and compensated when the company decided to convert the area into a tailing dam to dispose of waste from their productions. He again alleged that the company later approached them to acquire their farmlands for the same purpose, but they were only compensated for their farm products and their properties ignored. According to them, several appeals to the company to compensate them for their structures have proved futile since 2009.
Ama sisia nsukura minsu mi toilet mbibia waire wasen nti ama mafran kwa ama yo hanum ama oba na akwatena krum ama sisia no wotwa kwan na oba aha na ile oba fum nti medan de ejef mpanyifo onyina no wo se wo hwe mpanyifo na wo ye wotua medan ka wo na yede mefia nti se bo wan man se me ho na ba de blambe no wo se kwano won enka won concession ho nti edichi na ba wo se kwano wo jack concession ho nti se bi jack concession wo de no sa abade a na wo se enka.
Meanwhile, the Public Affairs Officer of Aboso Goldfields Limited, Franklin Owusu, reacting to the matter, said the farmers had no genuine case and that their claims were only allegations.
As far as we are concerned, everybody in that area was duly compensated for. Every legitimate farmer in the area was compensated for.
The secretary to the Damang Mine Consultative Farmers Association, Michael Anka, said the matter has not been officially brought to their notice, but promised to take up the matter and bring it to its logical conclusion.
You're watching the Midday Brief here on Joy News on Multi TV. We take a quick breather. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Now let's do some politics. And the 2012 presidential candidate of the NPP, that's Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, has left Ghana on Sunday with his wife Rebecca to the United Kingdom for a short break. Now, a statement signed by Herbert Crapper says Nana Addo wishes to use the opportunity to call on his party, the NPP, to be united and strong for the battle ahead, as he remains convinced that Ghana's progress and the Ghanaian people's prosperity depends largely on an NPP government. He also requests his supporters and sympathizers to remember him in their prayers as he takes what he has described himself as a political time out. In his words, the battle continues to be the Lord's. He is expected to announce his political future on his return. Meanwhile, his running mate in the 2012 elections, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has arrived in the northern region to start a thank you tour of the NPP. The tour is to thank supporters of the party for standing by them during the election petition verdict. Let's speak now to our Northern Regional correspondent, Hashmin Mohammed. Good afternoon to you, Hashmin.
Good afternoon, Smart.
Okay, so when exactly did Dr. Bawumia arrive, and what has been doing so far in the Northern region?
Mahamudu Bawumia arrived some few minutes, exactly 5 minutes ago, and he's been accompanied on the tour by the national chairman of the party, Jake Obichebi Lamte, and then the general secretary of the party, Kojo Osu Afri, also known as John. Right now, though, a closed door meeting is supposed to be. They are in a closed door meeting with a branch, constituency, and regional executives of the party, as well as some few supporters of the party. The information I've gathered so far is that after here, they'll be moving straight to the Upper East region on a similar tour.
Okay, so it's just going to be a meeting with the party leadership in the region and not with the supporters on the ground?
Yes, not with the supporters on the ground, but they are meeting with the party executives in the region to thank them for the support that they have shown to them. But my understanding is also that whatever information they have, they will be extending it to the executives, and they will be moving it down to the supporters.
So which means that he's not going to spend the entire day in the northern region. He's actually going to just, after the meeting, move on to the other regions as well.
Well, that is the program lineup that has been given to us by some executives within the region. So for now, that is what is supposed to happen, unless maybe they decide to make certain changes to his program lineup as far as he's in northern region.
Okay, thank you very much, Hashmin Mohammed, for that update. And he was telling us about Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia's visit to the northern region, where he says he is actually meeting with the executives of the northern region. He's actually touring with the national chairman and general secretary, that's Jacob Echebilamte and Sir John, respectively. But away from that, last year the People's National Convention entered into talks with the Convention People's Party for a possible merger prior to the 2012 general elections. Talks, however, stalled due to the closeness of the December polls. The two parties have been locked in negotiations over a merger for a while now, with no solution in sight. Calls have been made by political watchers for the two Nkrumah's parties to join forces to improve on their electoral fortunes. This is after the abysmal performance of the smaller political parties in the 2012 elections. Well, a former PNC parliamentary aspirant for the Ashaiman constituency, that's Samson Asaki Awingobit, says he will start a campaign to ensure this is achieved. We'll be getting some more insight on the PNC and CPP merger as to whether it's still alive or dead right after this break. Welcome back. Now, I'm joined in the studio by the former PNC Ashaiman parliamentary candidate Samson Asaki Awingobit. I got it right this time?
Yeah, you did.
Okay, thank you for joining us on the Midday Brief. Now, let's look at, you are saying you're going to embark on what, a one-man campaign to get the merger talks back on?
Yeah, thank you for having me. And then good afternoon to both PNC and then CPP members in this country. I said I am going to go vigorous campaign, not only 1 month, until the leadership, the top leadership, both political parties, PNC and CPP, understand what the people want. Indeed, if you do recall, if you go around the 10 regions and then the 200 and something constituencies, you have people who came out to form the party out of their own hearts. They are party founding members, both men and women. They've been following this party since 1992 till date. And we did not just form political parties on Nkrumah or Dr. Hillel Lima in his blessed memory. Did not just form the PNC just for a namesake. He really wanted to, the reason for him is to take the reins of this country and then deliver what the people are asking. Because the people realize that when Lima came to government for only 2 years, what he did for this country was so marvelous. But today, he's lying in his grave. He's looking forward to see who succeeds him and really form government, not just putting up a presidential candidate. Now, in the 2012 general election, the two political parties or Ghanaians were looking for a change, and that change could have been PNC, CPP coming together for a merger. Now, leadership from both political parties has failed totally in the promises that we are on talks. We are on talks. We were on talks 2004 election. We were on talks in 2008 election. We were on talks in 2012 election. Nothing has come up.
Sorry to cut you. Exactly. They've been talking since, as far as, like you rightly mentioned, 2004. What makes you think that the leadership of the two parties are really, really interested in seeing a merger? Because if they were interested since 2004 to 2012, I mean, it could have happened.
They will always just use the media to come and fly the downtrodden members of these two political parties. The downtrodden members that I said, people who sacrifice using their money and resources and energy to form these two political parties are looking for Nkrumah's ideology. The Nkrumah ideology can be found in the PNC and can be found in the CPP. But the members, the top executive, the national executive have totally failed. They only use the media to come and fly as that they are on talks. Okay, I am saying that this is the right time. The problem that they fail to look at it is that we normally allow the two political parties go ahead to conduct constituency executive, regional executive, national executive, and then even go ahead to elect a presidential candidate. Now it comes to who will compromise his position.
Exactly.
My party has taken. So
because there's even an issue about the logo.
Yes.
For
so
instance,
my call
whose logo are you using? Are
you
using the PNC? Are you using the CPP? They've not been able to.
Ghanaians knows that if PNC CPP comes together for 2016 election, we can put Kube and CPP on one logo. It doesn't matter. That people really know that this PNC CPP have come together. That's a common logo. Ghanaians know that if the CPP PNC come out and give a joint statement and saying that we are going to use the akoko, okay, the fowl. That is the symbol for CPP because we all talk of Nkrumah ideology, Nkrumah's ideology. Nkrumah came with the fowl. People would definitely, if they see Alhaji Ramadan and Samia Nkrumah being on one platform saying that this is the direction we want to go, this is the same we want to use, the rest will follow. We will not. Ghanaians are even young. Now, what I'm saying is that this is the right time I'm calling for, and I'm going to campaign. I'm inciting, indeed, I am inciting men and women who really spend their resources, making sure that PNC CPP should come to power one day, and the top hierarchy are failing. We haven't organized any constituency election after 2012 election. We haven't organized any regional executive election. We have not organized any national delegate conference. Neither do we elect any president candidate for any of the political parties. I am saying that this is the time. I am going to inside no mega for 2016 election, no any general election for both political parties.
So if CPP and PNC do not merge to become one before the 2016 elections, you're saying the two parties will not contest?
Indeed, that is the most important thing, because me and my people will make sure we go to. Indeed, if you look at the electoral laws, okay, I have the blame for electoral commission. He should have denied these people. He should have denied both our president.
But the electoral commission cannot just deny them just because
we need structure. You are a media man. I am a politician. You are a media man. If you go around this 200 and something constituency, okay, even regional level, you cannot find CPP office, you cannot find PNC office. It's lack of failure, the failure of the leadership. And I'm saying, if we should come together, look, mind you, there are many men and women, very dumb and dynamic people who want to even put resources to help these two political parties if you come together. Okay, it's about resources. We have no logistics in place.
Okay.
Okay. Now, if you have no logistics in place, how do you go ahead to come against using national headquarters to contest election? National election, is that it? If you go to the constitution which I'm coming, 2008 when I was running, I have to spend money. The constitution chairman, we have to spend money to put up a party office. What is it? Does it take? It takes all of us a collective responsibility. The national executive supposed to direct us, and they totally failed. I am saying that. I and my people are saying that we need CPP PNC now, mega now.
Okay.
Before constituency elections goes on. Okay. Without that, no, there's no. I'm even going to. I'm calling for the constituency executive and the regional executive. They are not working. They are not there. People are yawning, and then because they are voiceless, they are. If you get close to them, say, "Look, we wish PNC and CPP should come together."
Okay.
But they are voiceless.
Okay.
I am
We're running out of time, but I just want a quick response to this. Do you think that, considering the fact that since 2004, thereabout, that the leadership of PNC and CPP have been talking and the merger hasn't happened, do you think your exercise will be an exercise in futility, that it may not really result in what you want to see, a merger of the two parties?
Is going to have a foot. If anybody sits out there and think that what I'm saying is, look, we have, I'm telling you, you pick the news from elsewhere. The reaction that this news is a bomb blow to the two national chairmen of our political party. Okay. And indeed, look, 1992, 2004, 2008, 2012, PNC, CPP, we used to boast that we are the third largest party, have only single numbers in parliament. Is it what we are talking about? Okay. If we should what I'm saying, if we should come together in 2016, even if we cannot take the reins of this country to form government, we could win more members of parliament in parliament to represent the political parties. Right. So we need merger now. That's what I'm calling for.
Thank you very much.
And I'm going to incite our members to stand against our leadership. No vote. Without merger, no vote for any national executive.
Okay, thank you very much. Samson Asaki Awengobit. He is a former PNC parliamentary candidate for Ashaiman constituency here in the Greater Accra region. And he's saying essentially that if the PNC and CPP do not merge, he will lead a crusade to ensure that the party does not, neither party gets to contest in the 2016 elections. But away from that, tax policy advisor of the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning, Dr. Labi Siao, says government will work assiduously to broaden the tax base in order to ensure that existing tax rates are increased only when warranted. Speaking at a sensitization program on Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act organized by Ernst & Young in Accra, Dr. Siao indicated that government will seek a reciprocal arrangement that enables it to broaden its tax base as local banks comply with the FATC rules in 2014. Now let's do some international news. At least 19 people have been killed in Mexico, which is being battered by two powerful storms. Hurricane Ingrid has caused floods and sent thousands to emergency shelter on Mexico's Gulf Coast. It is expected to make landfall later on Monday. On the Pacific Coast, Tropical Storm Manuel has brought 2 days of torrential rains and caused widespread damage. The area around the seaside resort of Acapulco has been badly affected.
That led to the cancellation of Independence Day celebration in Mexican towns. Thousands of people have been forced to leave their homes. On the Gulf of Mexico, more than 6,000 people have been evacuated ahead of Hurricane Ingrid, a Category 1 storm. It already has winds of 120 km per hour, causing widespread damage, particularly in Veracruz and Tamaulipas states. Tropical Storm Manuel has hit the western coast on the Pacific Ocean, bringing almost twice the monthly rainfall in just 3 days. The states of Oaxaca and Guerrero have been the worst hit, with some road and telecommunication links down. And the city of Ciudad Juarez in Chihuahua State also suffered heavy rain from a separate storm system, causing flooding on roads.
Now, one of the largest and most daunting salvage operations ever undertaken is underway with an attempt to pull the shipwrecked Costa Concordia upright. The operation was delayed for 3 hours because of an overnight storm. Righting the ship is expected to take up to 12 hours.
Engineers have never tried to lift such a huge ship so close to land. 32 people died when it hit rocks. The bodies of 2 of the dead, a passenger and a crew member, have never been recovered and may be found during the operation. The Italian Civil Protection Authority said the sea and weather conditions had mostly been right for the attempt. The storm overnight on Sunday delayed the positioning of a barge carrying a remote control room close to the shipwreck. From that room, engineers will work using pulleys and counterweights to move the Concordia from the rocky ledge it is resting on. Sergio Girotti, an engineer working on the project, said the operation was going ahead as planned. Everything is going according to plan and they are following the plan sequentially.
Now, the French foreign minister has said his country, Britain and the US will seek a strong UN resolution with serious consequences if Syria fails to hand over its chemical weapons. Laurent Fabius and his British and US counterparts have held talks in Paris. Under a deal brokered by Russia and the US, Syria has agreed to reveal its stockpile within a week and eliminates the chemical arsenal by mid-2014. The US have threatened strikes on Syria over a chemical attack in Damascus. President Bashar al-Assad's government denies having carried out the attack on August 21 and blames rebel fighters instead. We'll do sports in a bit, and Rashida Babakari will be filling us in on the draw for the African countries ahead of the 2014 Brazil World Cup.
Good afternoon to you, and thanks for staying tuned to the sports segment on Midday Brief with me, Rashida Babakari. Sports on the Midday Brief is proudly sponsored by Tigo. Smile, you've got Tigo. Now, earlier today, Ghana learned its fate as far as the World Cup 2014 playoffs are concerned. And so it happened that Ghana would be hosting Egypt, the Pharaohs of Egypt, here in October. We'll play the home game first and then go away to Cairo in November to play the second leg. Now, 10 countries were actually put into 2 groups, and so now we see the home and away matches. And so let's catch a glimpse of what actually happened during the draw in Cairo earlier this morning. Right, and so we go on to the phone lines now and speak to former Ghana international Felix Aboagye. He's also played for a very long time in Egypt, and he will tell us what we should expect. Hello, Felix. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Rashida.
Hi, Felix. I'm sure you've been monitoring what's been happening this morning as far as the World Cup playoff is concerned.
Yeah, I heard the news. Ghana will be playing against Egyptian side. And
yes, we play home, we host them first, and then we go away in November to play away. Now tell us, Felix, what does this mean, Ghana versus Egypt?
Yeah, I heard it, and I think it's going to be a tricky encounter and an entertaining affair because both countries are very, very good. Both countries play exciting football. And we live to see this match, what is going to happen. But we don't declare Ghana is on top of Egyptian because the Ghana League is inactive and the national team players are very, very active in Europe. Likewise, in Egypt, the players are dormant. The league has been on recess. They have not even started the league. So I will see how it will go because we have not been able to score Egypt when we meet the both countries. So it will be a tricky affair for us.
Okay, Felix, you have actually raised the concern that Ghanaian players are very active in their various clubs in Europe and then in other parts of the world. But the Egyptian Premier League is on hold and they are not playing any active football. But they have the Pharaohs of Egypt, I'm talking about the national team, they have maintained a 100% winning record. They have beaten every country they have come across in the qualifiers. And so doesn't Ghana need to be scared of this?
Yeah, we are not saying that the Egyptian national team are not good. For the past 3 African Cup of Nations, they have been able to win it convincingly, and the qualifying also they have won convincingly. Likewise, they are in good shape. But to be frank with you, when it comes to international football, Ghana also is being recognized as one of the powerhouse.
Well, too bad we lost out on Felix Abuaje, but I'm sure we'll be reaching him once more to analyze what it means that Ghana is playing against Egypt. But the other draws for the playoffs, Ivory Coast will host Senegal at home. Ethiopia would also host Nigeria. Tunisia would be up against Cameroon, and then Burkina Faso, they'll be up against Algeria. I'm sure we'll try and reach Felix Abuaje and then also go through all of these matches. The first leg of the matches will be played between 11th and 15th October, yet to be decided, but between 11th and 15th of October, we'll see the first leg matches taking place. And then between 15th and 19th of November, we'll see the second leg. So by 19th of November, we'll know the 5 teams that will qualify to go represent Africa in the 2014 World Cup in Brazil. So it's Ghana, Egypt, Ivory Coast, Senegal, Ethiopia, Nigeria, Tunisia, Cameroon, and then Burkina Faso, Algeria. Also, okay, I understand we have Felix back on the line. Hello, Felix.
Yeah.
Yes, you are making your point. Sorry, you are making a point. Please go on.
Yeah, I'm saying that for quite a very long time, we have not been able to break that chains that we cannot win against the Egyptian national team. So this is a great opportunity for us to prove to the world that we are forced to be reckoned with. Like as I was saying, all our players are playing in Europe actively at this moment. So they are on top of their game. And likewise, Egypt, who their league is not on recess. They don't even know when they're going to start their league. So practically, we'll be ahead of them. Because on paper, it will be equal, but on the field of players, I think we'll be ahead of the players. So I believe it's a great opportunity for us to excel in that match. And once again also, they will be playing in an empty stadium. So it will be a plus also for us. So I think we have to prepare adequately and make sure that when they come here, we have to win convincingly, at least 2-0 or 3-0, so that when we got to Guna, I think we are going to play the match in Guna. It's a very empty stadium, so there also. So I think it's a great game. It will be a tricky, exciting game, and all Ghanaians should be ready for it. So I believe the players also will be prepared adequately, and will be ready for them when they come here.
Felix, you have played in Egypt for a very long time, and I'm sure you understand the terrain very well. You have monitored the Black Stars in their last 5 games, also on an international level. Now, what must Kwesi Appiah and his boys, I mean the Black Stars, what must they do to ensure that they'll win convincingly against Egypt, both home and away?
Yeah, like as I was saying, it will be a great match. So while the match is being played here first, I think we have to map up a strategy for us to win convincingly. I know the league, I know the national team, they'll be coming here to frustrate us. At least they're coming to play one attack. They are going to pile up the midfield and make sure they play on the counter attack. So what we have to do is, I think we have to open up the game and make sure that we break them as early as possible and make sure that we get a goal in the first half and make sure that we unsettle them and win convincingly, because when we get there, at least they are going to be delaying the game and make sure that they are going to frustrate us. So the game will be played in Ghana. All the 2 legs will be bound into one and will play in Ghana. What will happen in Ghana will decide who qualifies. So it means we have to make everything very, very possible and make sure that we win the game here, not in Cairo. We have to win the game here. So it's a big test for Kwesi Appiah and the boys. And I hope he is up for the task. He's a great coach, and he has a great personality. All the nation is behind him, and we have all the crop of players ahead of this game. Everybody is around, so it will be an exciting and a big test for us. And we have to make sure that at least we have to put a smiley back on the Ghanaian face. So it's a big task for our national team, the Black Stars.
Felix, my final question to you. The Egyptian national coach, Bob Bradley, he once handled the USA. And in all those times, in 2006, Ghana beat USA. In 2010, we also happened to beat them. And now he has gone to Egypt. Do you think that Ghanaians know Bob Bradley too well and know his tactics and his techniques too well? And so it will be quite easier for us and advantageous to us?
Yeah, like how I'm saying, it will be a great challenge also. The coach also from USA, and like how we have been hammering the USA national team down, he will on the revenge in his mind that he will revenge against Ghana. So it will be a tricky test. It will be an exciting game. You know, now they play like the USA. So it's good. It's very, very good for us. So I believe the game, like I was saying, we will play in Ghana. We make sure that we finish the game here. When we get back to Guna in Egypt, we go there and make sure that we are going to wrap up the game there.
Felix Abache, thank you very much. And he has been at Ghana International, played for several years in Egypt, and then he's been helping to analyze the Ghana versus Egypt fixture. That's the final qualifier to the 2014 World Cup in Brazil. Now, what it is that the Black Stars will play against the Pharaohs of Egypt between 11th and 15th of October. That's the first leg. And then we go away to Egypt between 15th and 19th of November. And that's when we're going to know who and who will make up the 5 teams that represent Africa in the Brazil 2014 World Cup. So Ghana, Egypt, Ivory Coast, Senegal, Ethiopia, Nigeria, Tunisia versus Cameroon, and Burkina Faso versus Algeria. And that will do it for Midday Sports for this afternoon. It's proudly sponsored by Tigo. Smile, you've got Tigo.
Okay, let's do some showbiz now. And the Plus 233 Jazz Bar over the weekend took on an island feel when the Cover Joylanders steel band from Trinidad and Tobago rocked the place. Well, the performance by the 11-man steel band was to commemorate that island nation's independence anniversary. And they surprised the patrons as they collaborated with the Iron Boy Abranteɛ Amachidide to perform 2 of his hit tracks, Akwada Resua and Debi Debi. Here are some highlights from the performance. Well, the joyous sounds there from Steel by the Cover Joylanders. And that will be it for the Midday Brief. But before we go, a second look at our top stories. A ban on slaughter and sale of livestock in the Wa municipality is expected to be lifted on Wednesday. In sports, the Black Stars of Ghana will host 7-time African champions Egypt in the first leg of the final World Cup playoff in October. And on the international front, French Foreign Minister Laurent Fabius says his country, Britain and the US will seek a strong UN resolution with serious consequences if Syria fails to hand over its chemical weapons. That's it. My name is Nia Kofi Smart. Many thanks for your company.